Welcome to The Dream Show, where each episode I sit down with someone just like you
I'm in a current phase of pushing myself to do things.
to decode the meaning behind your dreams and explore their connection with trauma, healing, and the subconscious mind.
I do like to watch and see where the dream takes me.
My name is Jesse Lyon, your host, a licensed counselor, certified trauma hypnotherapist, and a dream interpreter. So whether it's a nightmare,
I don't know why, but I knew that he was talking about me, and he comes storming up to the door, and I remember him shouting, "Where is my son?"
a bizarre scene, or something too weird to even describe,
It was so traumatic for me, literally, I have blocked all but this memory.
we dive in and learn to listen to the messages that your mind is trying to tell you. Let's jump into it. Welcome to the first episode of The Dream Show. Maybe the name will change, maybe we'll edit some stuff, but there's always got to be a first episode, and I couldn't imagine anyone better to be on the first episode than Sarina. Little shout out before we get started. I gotta say a big thank you to the sponsor of the show, Empowering Me and Julie. So if you haven't followed Empowering Me, seen all the wonderful stuff that she does, Julie, gotta go check it out. Links will be in the description down below. Julie does all of our interviews for guests who come on the show. I don't think you actually had to have an interview though, because Sarina has been such a part of the Lyon mental health and like all the dream stuff that we've done for so many years. I mean, gosh, how many years has it been? I've been making videos for 6 years because I started in 2019, and you were pretty early on, right?
Yeah, I want to say it was summer 2020, because I discovered you right after I discovered Justin, which would have been summer 2020.
Yes. So, in 5 years, what do you think's kept you around, like being interested? I'm just curious. In the dream space, it's a weird space to be in.
It is. I think it's definitely just been like learning more and like learning that like each dream symbol has multiple sides to it. So then it's like almost like if you're having those conversations with someone, they tell you your dream and then you're like, oh, it could mean this, but then it could also mean this, and then them telling you what's going on in their life after you say what the symbols mean, and just seeing it all get put together is amazing.
Yeah, agreed. So for you, it kind of helps like with conversations. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
well, you'll tell somebody a dream, and then they'll share a little bit about their life, and it'll give you some insights into like, oh, well, I never thought about that symbol in that aspect.
Yeah, no, or like they didn't really think that like what they're going through in their life was really that impactful that they would be dreaming about it.
Yeah, that happens a lot of times. I feel like that's almost kind of one of the staples of dream interpretation is the things that we don't think are impactful. Usually the subconscious mind picks up on and says, no, this is super, super important. We're going to spend a whole night like thinking about this topic that consciously you didn't think was worth any time of day.
Yeah, no, exactly. It's just it's crazy to think that like your dreams do mean so much, and like a lot of it is unconscious thoughts, right? So
Yeah, I mean that's the power. Okay, well, a little bit about you. First of all, what are you drinking today?
I am drinking a Chinese restaurant tea. If you've ever been to any like authentic Chinese restaurant, this is the tea. It's a mix of it's a mix of green tea, oolong, and jasmine.
Green tea. Is it for caffeine or for calming?
It's for nostalgia.
Nostalgia. Ooh, good memories growing up.
Mm-hmm.
That's great. That's great. Would you mind spending a little bit of time telling me more about yourself? And maybe we can start there. I think it's so interesting the way that different dream symbols have very similar meaning, but slightly different depending on like where you grew up or what your heritage is or what your culture is. Like, I mean, maybe a classic one is if you think of cow, right? If you think of cow as a Westerner, you think of cowboys, right? In like the wild Western frontier, right? A little bit of Dirty Harry or Clint Eastwood. But if you're from like India, cows are sacred. if you're over in like Asian culture, especially with like the Chinese calendar, cow is super symbolic, year of the ox, right? And,
Well, yeah. So fun fact, I'm actually the year of the ox.
oh, well, look at that. Look at that. Well, that makes us both the year of the ox? No,
No, so you're a rooster, I think.
I am a rooster. Yeah. How did you know?
So you're 93.
I'm 93.
You're the same age as my brother.
Oh, I keep forgetting. We share a birthday, but not a year.
Yeah.
I always think we're the exact same age. That's not true.
No.
Okay.
Yeah, so you're a rooster, I'm an ox. I only know this because my brother's also a rooster.
Fantastic. So yeah, the culture plays a huge difference in the way that you see different symbols. Very similar, but slightly different flavor. Basically. So could you tell a little bit like how old you are, where you live, and like how you grew up?
Yeah, so hi, I'm Sarina. I am professionally, I'm a civil engineer. Everyone, do not come at me for your roads because I can't fix them. I don't have the money to. Uh, so I'm Asian American, specifically Cambodian American. My parents immigrated here from Cambodia in the 70s and 80s. So that's a little bit of my background. What else we got?
How old and where do you live?
I'm so bad at intros.
Generally.
So I live in the US, currently residing in Pennsylvania and New Jersey, currently in the process of moving. So
Oof.
life is busy.
Best of luck.
And I am 27. If anyone knows how to do the math, I am an ox. So I was born in 1997. 27.
Nice. And what are your dreams like?
Oh yeah, they're so for the most part, I am a lucid dreamer. Some days I am lucid dream, some days I don't. It really all depends on how much effort I want to put into them.
Fair.
Right. So for the most part, I am a lucid dreamer. Do I control my dreams? No, not really. But if I get myself in a certain situation, like if I'm gonna, potentially get kidnapped, I will try to run away. Or if I'm curious, I do like to watch and see where the dream takes me. Until I want to get out.
So you want to get out. What kind of effort does lucid dreaming take for you? And I guess maybe before you answer that question, I should probably explain how do you define a lucid?
So lucid dreaming, you're making me do your work.
Well, a little bit. I mean, the scientific, like when it comes to research, the definition for lucid dreaming is any dream that you're aware you're dreaming. So you don't necessarily have to control, which I think is one of the big misconceptions that people have. They think that you have to be able to control the dream in order for it to count as a lucid dream. But that's not actually how they study it. And, Dr. Stephen LaBerge is one of the foremost, like kind of the godfather of lucid dreaming research and has made some amazing like discoveries about how that works, why it works. And I had these conversations with these scientists at the International Conference for Studying Dreams. And I was like, why are you so interested in lucid dreams? Like, what's the big deal? And they're like, well, one of them told me his name's Benjamin Baird. Ben told me, he's like, well, we study lucid dreams because it's a very unique way to study human consciousness. And so he's not actually a dream researcher. He's a researcher on consciousness. So he does all these experiments to understand like what human consciousness is and how it works, which is fascinating, kind of the advent of AI. And so by studying this very like specific state of consciousness, it helps us understand human consciousness that much better. So anyways, I say all that to say that's the scientific definition of, but a lot of people who talk with me or come on the show have a slightly different, like they think that a lucid dream is only when they have control. And so I'm asking you, not to make you do my job, although I'll let you do it, but to see how do you define a lucid dream and what kind of effort does it take for you?
Yeah, so my understanding of a lucid dream is, you said it, it definitely is it's when I know I'm in a dream. Because controlling the dream takes a lot of effort, and I'm just like here for the ride. As I am in most of the things I do in my life. So it also like with having that definition and like that perspective of a lucid dream, it does help. It also helps me remember my dreams a lot better, knowing that I know I'm in a dream. This is here. This is not real life, but I know like things are happening.
Mm.
So yeah.
So knowing that it's a lucid dream adds a layer of protection for you because you know that it is a dream, that whatever situation or topic that you're facing, it's safe to explore that because it is just a dream.
Yeah, yeah, right. And it's definitely just I'm a very curious person. So a lot of like being lucid is just I'm curious. I just want to explore what my mind has to offer and where it wants to go versus trying to manipulate it, not manipulate, but like try to control it in a specific way.
Yeah. What kind of effort does that take? You're saying it takes a little bit of effort to get into it.
So to get into a lucid state, it doesn't take a lot of effort. It's kind
Okay.
of, I go into what's the stage that you dream called again? REM sleep? No.
What happens in all different stages, but it's a little different. REM is the most
Yeah.
active for sure, though.
Okay. So yeah, when I'm in my dream state, most of the time I'm lucid, so I'm like, oh hey, cool. Weird things that is not me in a bed or wandering around town or working. That is almost no effort, but when it comes to controlling my dream, that takes a little more conscious effort. Also, a lot of kind of anxiety and stress to go with it because I'm like, what if I
Sure.
mess up? I don't know what this is gonna lead me. Let's just let's just go for it.
Okay. So that's what you mean. Like sometimes instead of taking a more proactive role in the dream, you'll just let it play out and see where it goes.
Yeah,
So it's not that it
yeah.
takes necessarily
And then
effort
if
for
I
you to
have that
lucid
dream
dream.
again, yeah, and then if I have that dream again, I know it's coming up, so then that's when I'll take control of the dream and try to change the outcome.
Okay. That helps. That helps understand a lot. Well, let's get into the dream. So what crazy
Okay.
dream do you have that you've brought for us today?
Yeah, so I have a couple. We'll start with this one. So I had this dream on March 22nd, so it's been a while, but
Okay. Yeah, we're
I think
recording
this
this
one's a
on
good.
April 16th.
Yeah, I think this one's a good one. It's detailed, it's fun, there's a lot of stuff to it.
Love
So, it starts with my mom and I went on a trip up north to our regular camping or lodging spot. When we got there, it was packed. It had seemed like a biker or car group booked the entire place for the weekend. Thankfully, no one was sleeping in our room in the house, so we ended up sneaking in and staying there. A lady walks down from upstairs and catches us thinking we broke in. We did not break in. We explained to her that this was our place, and this was our property, and we were only staying the night. She insisted we stayed for the whole weekend, so for 2 nights. And then the next day, they had a big grill bonfire, grill out type of party. They invited us there, and the guy threatens us to leave, that we have to leave that night. So then we were conflicted because we heard that the lady, if she doesn't get her way, then there's a price to pay, but the guy was also very scary.
Hmm.
Do you want me to keep going or do you want
Yeah, let's get through the whole thing and like get the idea of it, and then we'll go back and pick apart the pieces.
Okay.
So, so you're at this place with your mom. So some stuff there, as far as like context. She thought you broke in, but then she was cool with it.
Yeah, so the lady of the group that had rented the property for the weekend thought we broke into the house.
Oh, so it wasn't even hers. She had rented it.
Yeah, so she had rented it. Like
Okay.
my mom and I just went out. We were like, "Oh, it's our place. We're just gonna go," and then
Oh,
people were there.
okay. And at grill the next day, they invite us there. The guy threatens us to leave. Who's the guy? The guy seems to pop up out of nowhere.
He's the partner to the lady that caught us sneaking into the house.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, take it from there.
Okay. Okay, so we were forced to go on a go-kart ride with the group of people that rented the camping space.
Okay.
We all approached a red light. One of the guys runs the red light and speeds off, just, goes straight and bolts across the bridge. They get pulled over, and then everyone else sped off after that first guy.
Yeah.
Everyone lost control of their go-karts and fell into the water.
Oh, classic. Cars falling into water. Yeah.
All of a sudden, we were in a pool at a different camp.
Okay.
Yeah. So everyone got out of the water and jumped into new go-karts. But 3 people had to share carts, and no one wanted to share with me.
Oh. Okay.
At this point, I was alone. I do not know I don't know where my mom went. I don't know who else was around me, but
And no
I
one
was
was
on
in
my
your go-kart either. No one wanted to spend time
yeah,
with
no one wanted
poor
to
old
share a
Sarina
go-kart
over
with
here.
me.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so then the new camp walks in to see. Oh, so new camp walks in. I try to see if I recognize anyone in the new camp.
Okay.
I'm curious, and I want to see who else is there.
Sure.
Joe from Double Camp walks in and picks the cart next to mine. I tried not to get excited right away, and then said hi.
Hmm.
So,
Joe from
my
Double
go-kart.
Camp. Is
Double Camp.
that a movie? Is that a show?
It's a band.
It's a band. Okay. What kind of music?
Indie pop.
Okay. Yeah. Is it cute? So not like a crush figure, but more of like a celebrity figure for you?
No, more like a fangirl figure.
Okay. Like you would fangirl over this person. I mean, I've got my fangirl figures for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
I was playing music on a speaker that I had in my go-kart, and Bill Murray by Double Camp starts playing.
Okay.
The Double Camp guys, so there's 2 guys. There's Joe and there's Jordan.
Joe and Jordan. Sound like the Jonas Brothers here. No.
No, not Jonas. Oh, the Double Camp guys were excited that I was a fan, but because I was really shy, I was like, oh no, let's not bring attention to me because I'm playing these guys' music. But they kept hyping me up to just, take it all in and have a good time.
Hmm.
Okay, so then Double Camp and I sat at a table for lunch. So then we went off to go to lunch. And then we were also with one of my cousins from Canada. We started chatting. I tell them that I got married. I took my ring off to show Joe, and he bent it out of shape. I tried to bend it back, but
Bent it out of shape.
it was becoming flimsy.
Interesting.
I also had a personalized bracelet with my name and a saying on it. I take the bracelet off to show them, but drop it on the table, and it changes to my cousin's name and a different saying. I picked it up and dropped it again, but closer to me, and it changed to a relative in Minnesota. Dropped it closer to my cousin, and it changed to a Canadian cousin.
Very interesting. And that's the end of the dream.
And that's the end of the dream.
Wow. Okay. Well, the point of this show is to kind of demonstrate sort of how we work through a dream therapeutically from a psychological perspective, how we sort of uncover the subconscious meaning. So the first question I always like to ask is, when you woke up from this dream, how did that feel to you? Were you left with a certain emotion or a certain thought?
I was kind of confused. Because I was like, okay,
There's a lot of moving pieces to this.
there is. So I was like, are there am I like it was a lot of it was very much confusion of why are so many things changing?
Yeah, there's a lot of scene shifts, even multiple days almost, right? Or did this all happen in one day?
It was like a night, right? Because it was the first part is nighttime, so it was like night day and a half.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So confusion because of a lot of change. Okay. Let me hold on to that thought over here. On the other side, is there a certain part of the dream that feels more emotionally charged or at least more interesting to you? Maybe the most confusing even.
I think that last part of the ring and the bracelet, just because I remember in that part I was, and this is where you can kind of tell where I go from like observant lucid to like controlling lucid.
Yeah, you're like, well, let me keep dropping this. What's gonna every
Yeah,
time? Let's
so
see what
that's kind
happens.
of what happened. Was right, like I was riding through the dream, and I was like, okay, this is fun, this is cool. Let's see
We
where this is
chilling,
going.
we hanging out.
We're chilling, and then something weird happens, and I'm like, okay, let's, how many times can I do this? What will change if it like keeps happening?
Yeah. Well, it seemed like every time that you dropped the bracelet, it changed.
Yeah.
Wow, it's fascinating. It's fascinating. Okay, okay. Well, it all starts with your mom, right? It all starts with your mom, and you went on a trip with her. And so, usually when we think about mom, there's both in dream interpretation, there's both specific interpretations and general interpretations, right? So, spider, for example, can be about, they weave a web, and so they're tricksters, right? They set these traps for you. But somebody who has a phobia of spiders, it can be a little bit more personal as well, right? Like I'm also personally scared of spiders, right? Like my wife, like she doesn't like snakes because when she was a little girl, she was sitting playing in the backyard and a snake had like curled itself up and was on her shoe, like sitting on her boot. So she's got a personal connection with snakes as well. So for you, it's like, well, I think of mother, I think of feminine symbol and I think of sort of maternal protection, but also mothers are very much about connection, right? You think in a more archetypal sense, fathers are very much about protecting and structure. Mothers are much more about nurturing, like watering that child so they grow and giving them a nurturing environment so they can bloom into the full person that they're supposed to be. But also connection. Like we learn a lot about relationships from our moms, from that archetype. When you think about your mom, are those kind of the things that come to your mind, or does that stuff get more specific to you because of a certain relationship? Like, what's the significance of mom here?
Well, I mean, and this is very stereotypical. I grew up very stereotypical Asian parents. Mom was
Sure.
very, scary, strict. Um, and she also worked night shifts as a child. So like growing up, she was never there except for weekends. We got in a lot of trouble. We fought all the time. But since moving outside away from my parents, we've gotten super close. So I was not surprised that I was on a trip with my mom because we've gotten like really close and we talk for hours on end whenever we decide to call each other. So
Oh, well, I'm glad it's going better for you then. Yeah. Um, So mom is there and you're at a space, right? The space inside of our dreams is very symbolic of the space inside of our heads, right? Houses symbolize our own psyche. When we're in a certain place, right? This is my psyche in different areas, right? If you're having a dream about work, this is my mindset when I'm at work. If I'm dreaming about my current apartment, this is my mindset in my day-to-day life. I'm dreaming about my childhood home, this is my mindset from childhood. So being on a um, camping trip sounds very adventurous to me. It sounds very much, you're kind of away from distractions and you get to spend time sort of nurturing a relationship. So do you feel like that symbol speaks directly to you of like I'm nurturing not only a better relationship with my mother, but better understanding the adventure and nurturing the relationship of who I am as a woman as well?
um I think so. I do think there's more to it because right, we are camping, we are in nature.
Yeah.
So just based off of like I'm also very much a naturey person. So we've talked about this before. That like
Hmm.
my current state in life is very much I'm kind of in limbo. I don't know where I'm moving, I don't know where I'm going. Jobs are kind of everywhere.
There's another layer.
So
So it's more literal adventure. Like I am
yeah, so I think
nomadic
it's
in a
like
tent.
more yeah, more nomadic, more like trying to find my roots in some in a place again. Stuff like that.
Yeah. I think a lot about mothers and their connection with like family roles and identity, right? Like trying to find my place. Um and like how I fit in. So the connection of mother with camping makes a lot of sense of I'm trying to find a place to set up camp metaphorically, right? It's like a euphemism, not a euphemism, but like a turn of phrase
Mm-hmm.
in our speech, like where are you going to set up camp, right? Where am I going to make my home? And I think it's very interesting kind of connecting that idea of the first sort of scene with the second sort of scene of then we go to this place and we're going to like, oh, we're going to stay here. It's much more secure. Like it's actually a place to rent. It seems like an actual building structure, but it's occupied by somebody else. Which makes me wonder, it's like, do you feel something related to that, like displaced, or like I'm trying to set up place, but there's no space for me, or the place that I set up is already occupied by something else?
Mm, it does feel like that in a sense with like my work life.
Mm.
Because I am currently I have a lot of job problems, not problems. Um,
Oh, really? I mean, from what you've told me, a lot of job opportunities, actually, but that can be kind of
yeah,
the problem of it.
yeah, it's like a lot of job opportunities, but it's a lot of I have this really good job at the moment. It is back in my hometown, home state. So I'm originally from Minnesota.
Yeah.
Um, home state. So it's like, do I keep that job? Do I go leave for these new opportunities? And then at the same time, my current job is kind of kicking me out.
That could connect.
Um, and that has been like really like very stressful in a way of like I understand I understand the parameters of my current position.
Yeah.
Can I do it at my own pace versus like being forced to do it?
Ooh, interesting. Okay. Okay. It seems, correct me if I'm wrong, but as I look into the symbols of the dream, there almost seems to be a threat, right? Of like, the lady says, like, oh, if you don't pay, something bad could happen. Well, she didn't say that, but you get this feeling. If you don't pay,
Yeah.
something bad could happen. And then the guy who's there sort of makes almost like a literal threat, like this tug of war, right? It's like, well, I'm trying to find a place to be, but finding that new place to be, I have to negotiate my space there. So I'm being threatened to get kicked out. And then for some reason, the solution to this is, well, now you're forced to go on a go kart race, or like go kart like journey. Yeah. Do you feel like some of the motivation that you're experiencing, or at least some of the emotional pressure that you're experiencing as you try and find your place, is under like a pressure? Like, do you feel pressured to do that? It seems judgmental pressure, even, or value pressure, because the payment is there as well.
Yeah, I do think it's a little bit of like imposter syndrome of like, oh, I'm not good enough for like the opportunities I do have, plus like my current situation of am I being valued in my current position? And like we all know that I already have a new job. So like having that
Yeah.
external pressure from my current job being like, hey, we need XYZ from you before you leave, or like, you know, shouting it out like on the rooftop to tell everyone that I'm leaving is not on my own terms.
Okay, that helps a lot, because in my head, as I'm listening to the dream, I'm trying to understand, is this a more literal symbol of value, like I'm having financial struggle, or is it more of a metaphorical symbol of value, which is I'm not being valued in my company? Because money, like when there's money discussed in dreams, it's a symbol of value. And sometimes that can be literal or metaphorical. This seems metaphorical to you. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, yeah, definitely more metaphorical.
Okay, okay. How, um, mom later abandons you in the dream. Um, how how does your idea of being a woman in this field affect the value? Are those two symbols connected?
So as an engineer, but also as an Asian engineer,
Yeah,
a lot of people have asked me, is it hard being a woman engineer? Most people see me as Asian before they see me as a woman.
interesting. Is that a
So
benefit or a liability for you? Do you appreciate that
it's
or don't?
I feel like again, this brings back the imposter syndrome of they have higher expectations of me, which like I know I can meet, but
Yeah.
that insecurity of am I actually good enough because of XYZ? I don't know.
So your dream picked just the perfect symbol, both connecting your femininity and your Asian heritage through the symbol of mom then.
Probably.
Interesting. So it makes the value proposition just that much more difficult because, there is this, it's like reverse stigma of like, oh, you should be really smart, you're Asian, which is like racist in its own strange way.
Right, and then it's like I do fit that stereotype, so like
You
it's
are very smart. Yes, I agree.
double-edged sword. We got it.
Yeah. Do you like that people see you that way, or does it feel your dream seems to indicate that that feels threatening?
It's there's also a weird dynamic between women engineers. So at least from what I've noticed and witnessed at my job is the other women engineers don't really like each other. Like they find
Ah,
each other as competition.
ah,
So like for me, it's more of I'm kind of glad, but also I also would like to be recognized as a woman engineer doing good things rather than just an Asian engineer not getting recognized as much.
see, I see. That that makes sense. So the dream continues on, and you're in these go karts. Cars. Well, it's interesting. Cars are specific for you because you're a civil engineer who works on that type of infrastructure. No,
With great gigantic cones, by
with
the
very
way.
jagged.
Oh my
You
God.
made that, by the way, for those who are seeing this,
I
which is
did.
incredible. Does it have a name?
Um, I feel like all my cones at this point are named Kirby. I don't know.
Kirby Cone. Yes,
Kirby cone. I also have an actual Kirby cone now. It is not with me, but I do have one now.
I love it. Like an actual traffic cone.
No, like an actual like Kirby shaped like a cone.
That's a thing.
Yeah.
That's incredible. You gotta send a picture.
That's why my friends so my friends came up with the name. And that's why they're all Kirby cones because I'm a civil engineer. My friend was playing one of the Kirby games one day and he was a curb and then he was a cone.
Sick.
Kirby cone.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Well, so it has particular implications for your job, but typically when you see a car in a dream, it's about your control over your direction in life, which I've said many times on my channel. But it's interesting that it's a go kart, right?
Hmm.
But even before you get to the go kart, well, there's several pieces to the go kart part. Maybe let's start here. You're forced to take control over the direction of your life. You have to do this go kart driving. Um, is there a part of you that like wishes you didn't have to make so many decisions or take so much control over all this direction, especially as you try and set up camp for the future of your life?
Oh, always.
Yeah, I mean it's a bit of a leading question, but it seems to be led by the symbolism in the dream. Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah. No, right, because this is the first time I've moved away from home, so it's like try like all the things. There's so many.
Yeah. But then the dream develops, and there's this strong sense of loneliness. Not only loneliness, but I'm alone in my go kart. Usually there's three people. But I'm driving my go kart by myself, and worse, it's because nobody wants to be with me. That that seems very emotional. Does that feel emotional to you? I don't want to read into it, but like that seems sad, man.
I don't know. See, and this is where like I feel like it comes back to getting pushed essentially right, getting pushed out of my job, but like also I understand the intentions of why
Okay.
my supervisor's doing what she's doing, but
Okay.
like it comes off very much like get out.
Yeah. So it is an active choice. There's a part of you that wishes you didn't have to take so much active control. Like things could just like you could be along for the ride, enjoy the journey, right? I think there's a great metaphor
Hmm.
with the lucid dreams. It's like sometimes I want to take control of my dreams, but sometimes I just want to go along for the ride. Like, does everything have to be such a critical, pivotal decision? Um, so I'm alone, but maybe there's also I'm okay with that. Like the people who would be in my go kart maybe are not the type of people I want in my go kart anyway. It would have been nice to be chosen, but there's kind of a peace with it.
Yeah, like the more we talk about this, the more I'm like, is it better? Like, is it good and better that I'm moving on from my life in Minnesota too, where it's like, right?
Mm.
The people joining me in the go-karts almost feels like my past life. And then,
Oh, the past
everything
life is
from,
passing you
yeah,
by.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, so how does that relate to the stoplight then? I mean, stoplights are usually a symbol of warning, and that warning is ignored by another go-kart. Is there a warning that's being ignored?
Not sure.
And then pulled over, right? Pulled over by the police, which is usually a sign of guilt, right? Like, I did something bad. Now I have to atone for it or make up for it.
Um, I do think around this time was when I told my boss I got a job.
Uh, is there so police are funny. When they're arresting you, it can be guilt. When they're arresting someone else, it can be your mind's desire for them to get their comeuppance. It's like, yeah, pull them over. They ran the red light. They should have seen the warnings. They should have valued me while they had the opportunity. Like, now you're getting pulled over. Is there a little bit of like, hey, I hope someone stops this nonsense?
Oh, 100%.
100%. 100%.
So,
Yes,
so
actually, that would be great.
with this realization, I really hope my boss doesn't see this.
I highly doubt it.
I actually told everyone else intersection before I told her I got the job.
Oh, well, that makes sense. Okay, well, there you go. It's specific. Who was driving that go-kart that got pulled over? What's the symbolism?
Just a random person in that group.
Random person? Yeah, just a random
Yeah.
person in my life. Get out of here. You're not even important. Sounds like your brain's getting a little revenge for the way that you've been. That makes sense.
It's the brain doing the pettiness that I will not weirdly do.
Yeah, we're stuck by the social constraints of being consciously aware. But in the night, when it's just our subconscious and some of those more primal drives, we get to have that. We get to have that revenge. But even for you, like, I mean, I guess they do fall in the water later in the dream. So it's like,
We
yeah.
all fall in the water though.
Oh, I thought you stayed on dry land. You fell in water too.
Yeah, so we all fall in the water. And that's how we're all transported into the pool.
Got it. Okay, that piece makes more connection. Water is typically emotions.
Yeah.
So though you may be okay with you being the only one in your cart, and there's a certain level of satisfaction with someone being stopped for the wrongdoings that they've done and ignoring the warning signs, this still sounds emotional. Like everyone has lost control of their direction in their life and have been overtaken by the waters of their emotions. And I think you can see that in the job that you're talking about of like, there's a lot of emotional decisions that are being made, which are not smart decisions. It's the emotional competition between the female engineers.
Mm-hmm.
What emotions do you think you're being swept away with?
Not being like valued or heard. Because it's like I am I am the child. I am young. So it's like
Yeah, you are a young engineer too. So I mean, you've got
I
that.
am a young engineer.
Got that against you as well.
But it's definitely like my boss feeling, because she is also a woman engineer, feeling that pressure and like that control of like I need to do things the right way. I want to do things this specific way, but then like me coming in with all these fresh ideas, I want to do things this, like a different way, and then just like her not acknowledging or putting any thought into what I've said, and just been like, no, and just shutting me down.
Yeah. So she's swept away with her emotions. You're swept away with painful emotions of like just being your value being ignored, which I think to me leads me into the next part of the dream for sure. Of like you meet this person that you highly admire and they value you intensely, hype you up, and so your dream takes you through 3 pieces, right? And so we're getting to the last piece in this dream interpretation session. And I find that dreams often speak in 3s. I don't know why. Like maybe some neuroscientists can like give me a better research-based understanding about it, but there is something specifically about 3s. And as hypnotherapists, we use the number 3 all the time. When you repeat something 3 times, by that point you're kind of into a habit of it. And so there's something, it's like once you reach 3, this has become significant. And so like there's 3 pieces to the dream. 1, I'm camping with my mom. I'm trying to find a place to set up camp that's heavily related to my job. 2, it sets up the problem. I'm not being valued. And here are all the ways in which I'm seeing my struggle with value being played out. So it's going negative. And then the dream, so it's like setting up the premise. It goes negative about the problems in your life, and then it goes positive, almost leaving you with the last piece of giving a vision for the value that you wish you can have. And also showing you the discomfort you have. Like, though being undervalued is painful, it would be disquieting, uncomfortable, embarrassing to be hyped up by somebody that you so value. So there's this struggle with value, both in the negative, but your dream is also being so honest with you about, like, even if I was valued to the level that I would like, it would make me uncomfortable. Does that resonate with you? Like, I'm seeing this pattern of premise, negative, solution.
Oh yeah, no, it's definitely it definitely is that because when I got the offer or when I was talking to my new company that I'll
Yeah.
be starting later this year, everyone I talk to who talks about me, they're just like, oh, you're super smart, oh, you're super great, like you know what you're talking about, you're like they hype me up and I'm like, am I really?
Yes. Yeah. Are. Okay. So uncomfortable. Specifically when you think of double camp. And what's his name? Joe?
True.
Not Jonas. When you think of Joe, like, what are some of the things you find most admirable about Joe? I mean, obviously, pop singer, or alternative rock singer. Well, you said indie rock. Sorry,
Indie pop.
indie. Man, I went through all of them before I got to the right one, didn't I?
Dominic like Goss Animals,
Oh, okay.
yeah, like role model type of
Yeah.
music.
Is there anything else specific about Joe that you find particularly admirable? Like, is he extra funny? Is he like extra like physically athletic? Like, is he a deep thinker? Like, is there a certain flavor for Joe specifically that makes him extra admirable? Maybe a specific symbol in this set of dream scenes.
Um, I think it's just a confidence thing. I think,
Oh, his confidence.
yeah, just I mean,
Yeah.
most
Okay.
entertainers are confident. You're like everything's out there. Don't care really
Yeah.
what people think, and
Or at least they pretend to be confident.
yeah, right.
Right. Right. Mm. Okay, hold on. Let me scroll back to this last part of the dream, because I think this is the most important piece, but it also seems kind of the most obvious about your confidence and giving you a symbol, not only for how you would like to be treated, but also giving you a symbol for if you were to embrace your confidence, it would look like Joe. That's how you'd like to be, right? To have this level of confidence like Joe does. Towards like, yeah, like I'm good at this, like I bring joy to other people, and through my confidence I'm not detracting from anybody. It's like I'm able to put on something that makes people happy through that confidence, and you can almost see your dream giving you that gift of speaking confidence into you to start to bring you up to that level. Like, you and Joe are buddies in this dream.
Mm-hmm.
They like you a lot. But then something very interesting happens. Joe takes off your ring, which is usually a sign of a promise. Right? Rings are they're unending circle. They take off the ring. It's some kind of promise. Rings are also valuable, right? You think about like hero fights the dragon, opens up the big treasure chest, and there's gold bracelets and necklaces and rings in there, sign of value, right? So we're again back to this like symbol of value, but like a commitment sort of value, like a promise that you've made to yourself, and it's flimsy. And so, as I put these pieces together, I want to ask if this feels right to you, because if it was my dream, I would think that I'm trying to make this promise of value to myself, but my promise of value to myself still feels flimsy right now. Does that resonate with you?
Mm, I I think so.
There's a hesitation though. Explore that hesitation with me.
because I think it's I mean, because from what you said, I'm thinking of kind of like right how I said before, like I don't feel valued in my current job, but I want to stay at my current job because it's cushy, it's comfy, like
Right.
it. I don't want to change. Um, so I do think it's part of that, just like me being stagnant and not wanting to change and having that hesitation of committing to the new job.
Committing to the okay. So you're refining what I'm saying. It's yes, it is that, but to be more specific, Jesse, specifically about my commitment to my new job because change is uncomfortable.
Yes.
That makes sense. Does that fully resonate with you? Like, you still have any hesitation about that description of those dream symbols?
I don't think so because it's definitely something that has been on my mind a lot until recently because this was almost a month ago now.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
it was I had a lot of I was like finding myself a lot with when do I send in my resignation letter? When do I do X like all the, wrap up things I have to do before I start my new job? And I'm like, I've been so stuck with like I don't want to let it go yet because I'm scared.
Mm, yeah. Bracelet. Bracelet's very interesting, and it's probably the most
I was
interesting symbol.
confused.
Yeah. Do you remember what the bracelet said? Because it had your name on it initially. You dropped it, and it changed. It had your name and the saying.
Yeah, I don't remember the exact saying, but I feel like it was something like inspirational or encouraging.
Okay, so it had a positive sign to it. When you dropped it
Yeah.
and it changed names, did it continue to have an inspirational message?
I don't remember.
I don't remember. How did you feel when it changed names? Again, this overwhelming, like overarching feeling of confusion, or a different thing? I mean, you
There
seemed very
was
curious because that's when you became actively lucid.
it was more of a it almost felt like a loss of identity or a loss of like something, but I was curious if it would come back, right? So that's where I was
If I
going
keep
back and
dropping
forth.
it, will it come back around to my name?
Yeah.
Ah, I see. To me, the bracelet, we adorn ourselves with jewelry to express our personality, right? Like I've got a necklace, I've got a ring, I've got my watch, I've got my earrings. These all mean things about Jesse. Um, especially bracelets who do that. Like you think even charm bracelets, right? Like a lot of people put charms on a bracelet. Each one is a different memory, or even for parents, it's their children, right? Very significant
Mhm.
pieces of their identity are wrapped up into bracelets, and it's a way to display those to others. The dropping bracelet to me shows a feeling of instability when it comes to your identity, specifically around like deeper family. Like I think it can be about your job, but I think it runs even deeper to that, like an instability of, well, who the hell am I? Does that resonate with you, or would you massage that a little bit and change it?
Yeah, I mean, I don't have any family out here, so it is definitely trying to find a new community, finding, talking to my parents, talking to other people around me, and just trying to regroup and find my place again.
Yeah, find my place again. Wow, that's kind of beautiful. So the dream sort of wraps all the way around back to the beginning. Well, I guess it goes this way, right? I'm imagining a circle. Right? If you can imagine a circle. Hello.
Yeah. Hello.
It starts with the setting and then it goes negative, right? I guess it's not really a circle. It goes negative, but then it goes up to the positive, what you want to see. But then it wraps back around. It's a triangle.
It's a three-sided
It's
something.
a three-sided something. It's like premise, negative, positive solution, and then back to the premise. I don't have a place to set up camp. And so the tent with your mother then is wrapped back around to a repeating symbol of the same message. I still don't know who I am, but I recognize that there's this negative piece, and this is what I want. So it seems like the dream is leaving you with that last little suggestion of, hey, you want to navigate the challenges and achieve the goals. going to have to find some sense of stability and confidence, value in your.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah. You'll have to take some
Gotta
active
send
steps
it.
to do that. Gotta send it, man. Gotta send it. I love that. I love that. How does that feel to you? Like, I always like to ask, like, when we come to the conclusion of a dream interpretation, how is that resonating with you? The whole
I
thing.
like that because just in the last 2-3 weeks,
Yeah.
I've definitely gone through all of that where it's like, oh, I've finally committed to, sending my boss a resignation letter and
You.
or at least, had more conversations about I haven't sent it yet. I almost sent it today. Um
Well, okay, so then after this, that is your piece of homework. It's like your dream is telling you, send the dang letter.
I literally have it written out. I had ChatGPT write it for me. I filled it in and I have a draft of it.
There you go. Like, procrastination is hard. The avoidance. Yeah. You keep dropping your sense of self. Pick it up. Put it on. Is there, based on all of this, and we'll kind of leave it on this question, is there a next step action that your dream is begging? Better yet, I think that always is what our dreams are trying to do. So maybe I'll reframe the question. What is the imperative action that you're, if you feel comfortable sharing?
I feel like it's just don't get stuck in the past and move forward. Right? Easier said than done, but
But it
I think
starts the
that is what
commitment
it
to
is.
yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Well, Sarina, thanks for sharing your heart. Thanks for sharing your dream. Any last things to add before we wrap up?
I
Or
don't
burning
think so.
questions?
Just, I've been with Jesse for what, 5 years now? It's a thing. You'll find me on all of this stuff once in a while. If
Oh
you really
yeah.
look.
Oh yeah. Serena's there. Serena's there. I'll be back on tonight. Live is Wednesdays. Today is Wednesday.
Yes.
Be good.
Yeah, no, I don't think I have anything else. I do sell mini traffic cones, not this gigantic one, the ones that are like this big. They're
Although if you
currently
threw a
not on
number,
Etsy yet,
if you threw a number at
but
Serena, she might make you one. A giant one.
maybe.
Maybe. But yeah,
Number's
I've
right.
bought 2 mini traffic cones.
So
Love
I
it.
think that's the only thing I have.
Go check it out. We'll put that in the link below too.
It's
But
not active yet though. I need to reopen my
oh
store.
girl, well you got, by the time this posts, you're gonna have to get that together. Oh! Thanks again, Serena. Thanks for following. Thanks for supporting. If you would like to be on the show, the application will be in the description down below. I have a mission to help people connect with their subconscious mind and recognize that their dreams are not against them. They're their mind's desperate plea to solve a problem. If you look for the symbols and you know how to interpret the dreams and what it's saying, it'll guide you in the right direction. So, Serena, thanks for being the very first guest of the show. We're starting this off with a bang. I hope that other people sign up and hop on to do these interviews so we can share just what a dream interpretation session looks like and how helpful it can be for solving the problems that seem to plague all of us. I wish you the best. Go find that identity. Stand firm. Make that promise to your value.
Yeah, thanks. No, this was so much fun.
Yeah, agreed. Until next time. See y'all later. Bye.